Hello everyone, welcome to Sunday Social. Keep digging into your Sunday dinners and keep your ears open. We've got plenty of news to discuss. Adam and Sam alongside me, and the topics are on your screen. Garnacho's goodbye. Will it be Leverkusen? Will it be Italy? Will it be the Premier League? Rasmus Hojlund's expectations. Andre Onana's links. Donnarumma news, which is utter bollocks, but we'll discuss it anyway. And we've just had some stuff coming in about Victor Osimhen as well, which we will discuss in due course. How has the Sunday been, fellas?
So far, quiet. Not the best weather-wise, so I feel like a hermit crab stuck inside right now. But like, it's the day before work, isn't it? Not really a good time. yeah, kind of that dread. I can feel that dread building now.
Yeah, Sunday is just filled with that, isn't it, Sam? That kind of looming feeling where it's like you can't really do anything for the majority of the day because you know you're in work tomorrow. So it's just kind of like, you're sloughing about in it a little bit.
Yeah, I like my job though, so I don't get the Sunday scare.
I'm the same, by the way. Just if my boss is listening, like I don't mind my job.
Genuinely, I like my job, so I don't like when I go to work. It doesn't. I like in my old jobs where you go Sunday night. Oh fuck's sake, I've got to go up at 7, got travel and just do that. I don't have that anymore, which is great. But yeah. I've got the Lego Old Trafford that I've been building all day today. So I've just been chilling doing that.
Isn't that quite expensive? That Lego Old Trafford.
I got one from AliExpress, so it's a fake one, and it cost me like 40 quid, and it's exactly the same as the real one.
I did not know Fego was a thing. Never knew that.
It's called Lepin, Lepin. Lepin.
Okay. Yeah. And are you going to show the viewers?
Yeah. I'll put,
oh yeah, of course, yeah. You're gonna knock it down, he said. All that to knock it down.
Yeah.
It's a new building.
I'll build it and then I'll have to like build the new one at the same time.
Yeah.
And then build the new one, I'll have to knock the old one
down.
like
that.
Yeah.
Getting it level and then just completely demolish it down. I think there's wasted efforts that though, isn't it? How long is it going to take you to build that?
Well, I've done the Stretford end, I've done the East stand, and I'm just doing the Bobby Charlton stand in a minute. So I've got to do the Sir Alex Ferguson one, and then it's done.
Are you going real like life authentic and having leaks in the stadium and everything like that as well on top of it?
I might pour some water over it. And see that. I might piss somewhere in the corner. Piss.
Blocked piss.
I might put a load of like burnt paninis all over and then charge you 40 quid a time and stuff. Yeah. I could do that. And I could put some really shit football on the pitch as well, like just not scoring in goals. So.
Yeah, I love that version. At least it's authentic and real, right?
Authentic.
Yeah, that's the one. All right, we're going to discuss the transfer news. We'll kind of float about a little bit. It is Sunday Social, so it's a little bit more of a relaxed kind of format. But there's loads of stuff going on about... Pardon?
Like Adam needs boundaries and rules and stuff. We can't just give free rein to him. Like,
we'll give a bit of tether and we'll just see if he decides to chase a bird or whatever, and then we can kind of pull it in a little bit. But there is stuff on Garnacho, lads. I've had my piece about this. We just put something out on social media in terms of my internal thoughts. But we've got links with Bayer Leverkusen because your man Adam's just gone there, Mr. Eric Ten Hag, the bald skull cap and all that, is at Leverkusen. So there's links there. Plus they're looking, I think they're going to get a lot of money from Florian Wirtz going over 100 million quid. So they could have a bit of, money to spend. And also there's links to Premier League, Italian clubs. Like there's definite concrete interest there. Romano dropped the bombshell yesterday. Garnacho is definitely leaving the club. So in your opinion, I'm going to flip the question a little bit. Where do you think he'd actually suit? Where do you think he would go and do really, really well?
It's a weird one. I think he'd do well kind of no matter where he goes because, look, he is talented. It's just the attitude. Again, it stinks the place out. And we've had this issue multiple times with so many players. And he's one of those players where, like, he's burst onto the scene, he has. And I remember it's been on Twitter now with, like, showing old clips of him when he was a lot more raw. But I don't know what's happened in the last 2-3 years. It's just all gone to his head, inflated his ego. But, like, would he suit that sort of, Bundesliga type? We've seen Jadon Sancho go over there and obviously perform really, really well. Like, he's a different type of player to Sancho, I know. But I think he performed there. Chelsea have been linked. Like, if you're going to a direct Premier League rival, I'd add easily 10 million onto the price tag. Like,
he's going to score against us as well, don't you? If he goes to Chelsea, that's just guaranteed to happen. Yeah.
It's a weird one because I can't see him in a blue shirt, and I think it will likely be Chelsea, even though I don't know why they don't need him. I know their model is kind of different. We were talking about it the last day. Buy these players, hope to sell them in maybe 2-3 years then for
I think
profit.
Garnacho is on a list, but I think it's Jamie Gittins from Dortmund who's going to be the priority. And if they can't get Gittins...
They rejected the first bid, didn't they?
Yes. Yeah. So if they can't get that deal over, then Garnacho might be someone they're looking at. But Chelsea's... I don't know. I agree. I can't see him in a blue shirt. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't want to, but I can just see it happening. I think he is a Chelsea type of player as well, where there is that kind of attitude a little bit. Overpaid a little bit as well. But what are we talking like? Best suited? Where would you think Italy?
I think he slots into Napoli, where Kvaratskhelia has left that hole there. Like, he slots in perfectly. I think he looks like a superstar if he goes to Napoli. I think Conte's system with Scott McTominay, Lukaku, all the players they've got, I think he slots in absolutely perfectly and smashes it. And then all United fans who haven't been watching him have just watched reels and clips of him. Why did United let him go? Why did he sell him? It'd be the same shit. Like, they did it with Scott McTominay. Like, it's always the same thing. I'm sure they did it with Antony when he was on loan and like smashing it in Betis. Like, why have we let him go? So, yeah, I think he'd be fantastic at Napoli. I think he'd slot right in and it suits him down to the ground. They've got money because they sold Kvaratskhelia. So they've definitely got some cash on them. Conte staying now, and he's got a new contract, so there's stability there. They've just won the league. They're in the Champions League, so it's like a really good club to go to, I would argue.
Yeah, you think in McTominay's... if you was looking at McTominay outside looking in at him, if you're Garnacho, you see all the fireworks. I'm pretty sure he's just got like not a mural, but it's some kind of painting or something, I think, in Naples of him. Yeah. I think King Scott or something. Obviously, it just looks like a really kind of appetizing club to go to, doesn't it? So I wouldn't be surprised if Garnacho was, interested in going there.
Oh yeah, I've been to the city, I think about a year or two ago, and it's a very big footballing city. Like the murals they have around, it's very kind of old school, kind of almost like in a way. It reminded me of Barcelona a lot, but the tight streets and everywhere you went, you were reminded of Napoli. You were the Maradona portraits, everything was everywhere. Like people selling stuff, but like it's almost old school, kind of like that club it is in a way. Like I know they have their links with the mafia and that as well, because that's not many speak about. But like if you're an outsider looking at that, like I was there, I was in the stadium as well, and it's a nice venue. It is. It's now. I know I'm going a bit off topic here, but it's a fucking nightmare to get out to that stadium. I'm just going to say that. I remember, easily I walked. Must have been about 15 kilometers, something like that. I was walking the entire day to get out there.
Oh, wow.
And thank God I did leave early. But obviously the players will have a nice car to get themselves there. Yeah. But
slightly different in a Lamborghini Urus, isn't it, when you're driving there? Exactly. Just slightly. Yeah.
Especially compared to these legs. But like if you're an outsider looking at that, they've just come off winning the league. You're looking at that there, you can turn around your career there. Sure. Was it in the power list and Scott McTominay was in the top 10 for the Ballon d'Or now?
Yes.
Who would have ever called that?
It's crazy. And I think, just to get you in as well, Sam, I think McTominay, there seems to be a bit of, I don't know if it's called revisionism history or whatever it is, like, with me, do you know what I mean? With Napoli, and everyone's like, "Oh, why have you let him go? He's done incredibly well there. Look at this and that." But the reality of the situation, he weren't amazing for us, McTominay, was he? Like, he had a decent season under Ten Hag where he was scoring those last-minute goals, but he wasn't. He was just a pretty average, I thought. I don't know if that's
He was entirely misprofiled for most of the time. Right? He was played in a 6 or an 8, and he's neither. He doesn't. That's not his position. Like, he started as an attacker. And his best position is like shadow striker, number 10, crashing the box, getting on the end of balls and scoring goals. That's what he does. That's what he's there for. And you saw when it was Ten Hag's last season and he's bringing him off the bench to have an impact and he ended up being one of our top scorers. That's what he's good at. That's what he does. Like, that's what he's used for. Obviously, in Italy, you get a bit more time on the ball. You get more space. It's a slower league. So it plays to his advantages and he's able to sort of exploit that. And he's absolutely smashing it in Napoli. Like, some players just suit certain leagues. Like, some players go to certain leagues and they just absolutely, like, look at Anthony. Can't do it in the Premier League for shit no money, but he goes to La Liga and he looks like a star because he can play in that league. Same with the thing. I think the weird thing is, in the Amorim system, Scott McTominay will probably work really well in one of those number 10 positions, like off the bench or something. I'm sure he would, like, but it's just at the time the style wasn't suited him, but because he worked so hard and he was such a strong character and never gave everything for the badge and was a United fan, came from the academy, he got a bit more time at the club than he would have done and say we'd bought him and he played what he did. And because they always do. Like, if Rashford wasn't an academy player, do you think he would have lasted this long at the club? I don't think so. But because he's an academy player, it's a bit different.
Yeah. Right, let's see what people are saying then, because we've got 50 viewers in the chat, which is nice to see. Nice, healthy numbers. Everyone getting involved in their opinions. Eric Maleswa says, good evening, lads. Watching from South Africa. I always find that mad, when we see, like, people from around the world watching. I love it. Like, it's great, but it's just... I couldn't imagine someone sat there at a computer in South Africa. I was thinking, Real Reds Talk, type it in. Let's have a listen, see what the lads are saying. So it's nice to see. We've also got LDD, LD, off K, saying evening, everyone. Just for that name.
Welsh or something, is he?
Yeah, don't know.
No fouls at all in that game.
Chelsea are out due to his attitude, gone for Gittins for half the price. Yeah, seen that. 30-odd million. I'm quite surprised. I thought Dortmund would want way more, considering the whole what happened with Sancho and stuff, but maybe I don't know. Charlie Malman.
It's just us, Dortmund. That's the only one they actually try and police.
Just us who gets fleeced.
A normal price, but then it's when it's United. Oh yeah, stick an extra 30 million on it.
Yeah. Charlie's in the chat. Big up Charlie, saying, look at that. Hojlund is not going to leave after all. He thinks he'll play instead of Gyökeres. We're going to talk about Hojlund next. T2DSO, evening, lads. Unfortunately, Garnacho's ego outstrips his talent. We've seen attitude problems from day one. Time to get rid. Sam, why would Donnarumma want to come to United right now? It's exactly our thoughts when we saw that bollocks rumour. Hojlund's leaving just because he says he has a long-term contract. Doesn't mean he's staying regardless of what he says. That's McMillan. So many comments. Big up Steph, who's in the chat joining us. Always nice to see familiar faces. Brian Casey in the chat as well. Garnacho's ego needs a massive reality check. Off you pop to Italy and let us sign Gyökeres. And Daddy saying he's in a league Mkhitaryan and Darmian excelled. Some due aren't good enough for the Prem. Excelling in Italy doesn't mean a mistake or they improve, just a weaker league. And I think you can also mirror that, lads, as well with the Rasmus Hojlund situation, right? We signed him from Italy, looked really promising. Atalanta, 16 goals in all comps or whatever it was. This looks like a player. We spend a lot of money on him, 60, 70 million quid, and you look at him now, you're just like, he's not even probably worth half of that. Or maybe there is a team willing to take a punt. Inter Milan have been linked, but Adam, again, it's probably going to look like a loan with an obligation, which is just fucking annoying, isn't it? Like, all clubs from Italy seem to just do loans, don't they? Well annoying.
That's what I don't understand, because we know some of them have the cash as well, like from sales as well. Like, we should be demanding they open that checkbook. They need to, because they do these ways like to get around it. They'll pay less, run down a year on the contract, and then theoretically it could be worth less. So that's what they're trying to do, and they still have the player for that year, say. So like, I know this is the issue, though. The clubs know we want to get rid of these players, and you're going to take a bit of a hit on them, but we want to be making them permanent. Like when he came out and said that, I read it earlier because I remember it was put in the group chat, and he said the contract till 2030. I was hoping he meant half 8 tonight, honestly, when I saw that.
Yeah, I've got 2 hours left. Fucking praise the Lord. My God.
But it seems to be this whole kind of, even the Spanish sides are now doing it. You've seen it from, I know there hasn't been much links, but it was like the Rashford and Barcelona. It may be a loan. Real Betis are looking to get another loan for Anthony. But we need to offload these players because we need to actually get money in to actually, re-spend it in the squad. So, no, give them the middle finger, say, look, open your checkbook if you want to be signing these players.
Yeah, Sam, the recruitment in Italy, we've discussed it before, haven't we? I know Inter Milan got absolutely battered in the final, but they have been quite astute with you look at some of their best players. I mean, Calahoglu has been incredible for them. I'm pretty sure they got him on a free. Bastoni cost them 20 mil. DeMarco, I know we got rinsed. Thuram was free. Like, they seem to box clever a lot, these Italian clubs, don't they? And do you think they are going to eventually offer this kind of loan with an obligation, or maybe with an option for Hojlund? And will United accept that, do you think?
I don't know. I really don't know if they did accept it. But yeah, it just seems any club that's interested in any of our players, they never want to buy him. Like, it don't matter who it is, they don't want to buy him. Sancho, don't want to buy him. We'll loan him, but we'll send him back and we'll pay 5 million. Don't want to buy him.
Martial, another one.
Martial, we'll loan him. Don't want to buy him. Leaves on a free. Betis, we love him. He's so loved. He's so better. Not paying any money for him.
Can we lend him?
Like, yeah, can we lend him again? Dortmund, yes, we're familiar with Sancho's game. You forgot, blah, blah. Don't want to pay for him, though. Don't want to buy him. But yeah. It's the same shit every time. I'm like, how many times do we just get bent over? Like, just I hope like this window is the start of like us not sort of bowing to other clubs' demands when it comes to buys and also when it comes to sales, and just be like, look, if you want him, pay money for him. Either pay his wages with an obligation if you can't pay it now, or pay the money up front. Otherwise, you can get fucked.
And do not put those clauses in, like a 5 million return clause. Whoever negotiated that.
You buy, like, if you take him, you're buying him. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no option around it. Like, or if it is going to be a penalty clause, it's the same amount as the transfer.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So
maybe we can just start sending Sancho out on loan to other clubs and just keep getting the 5 mil compation fee when eventually they want to send him back. And it'll just work up to 15, 20 mil, and like, it's kind of worth it. Fuck it, and then he can leave on a free. We'd have to pay his wages.
I hope we see the end of that, because we seem to be buying and moving quickly in terms of buying. So I'm hoping in terms of sales we move quick. I mean, we're done with this loan option. We'll pay some of his wages, but I'm sick and tired of that.
Well, smash a like on the video if you would take 30 to 40 million pound for Rasmus Hojlund right now. Adam, would it be the worst thing in the world to keep him as a backup for Gyökeres, take the pressure off? If we get Gyökeres, assuming.
It's looking like we're moving down that lane, but I'd rather give Xerxes the time, because I think Xerxes is more of a natural fit into what Ruben Amorim's looking for in a striker as well. It's just obviously missing the goals as well, which is a big part of Hojlund's.
So do you see a world with Xerxes, Cunha, and then Buemo, potentially?
Potentially, yes. I can see that. And I think it would work well. I think it's a good balance and a nice free-flowing football up top then. They can interchange as well. I've seen Xerxes run out to the wing a lot. He's played there, obviously didn't have a good game, got booed off. But it's attitude as well. I know, don't get me wrong, I think Hojlund is a good kid. But I don't think he has that fight in him. And we've seen Xerxes get booed off, and he's come back, and then he's actually performed as well. Again, just missing goals, but that's why we need an absolute killer up front who's actually going to score. But I can see I'd rather hold someone like Xerxes as the backup rather than Hojlund, and I don't think you can have the three of them. I honestly don't think, because it's just going to cause unrest as well, and then he's not going to be happy. Then you're going to have a player who I was going to say his price is going to go down even more, but I can't imagine it being worse than it is now.
Yeah. Difficult, isn't it, to top yourself doing 4 goals in a full season? I mean, to get 3 this season or 2, even as
regularly too.
Yeah, even as a sub, I mean, that would still be pretty embarrassing, to be fair, even if he was getting 3 or 4 goals. Sam, we had the news recently that Osimhen rejected Saudi Arabia. I know where your answer is going to go with this. I know what you're going to say, but Galatasaray as well are looking to put the hat. Should we not even test the waters with this?
It depends on his wages. Or really, if his wage demands are insane, then no, don't do it. But if he's willing to do reasonable wage demands, then why not go and see, have a conversation, have a chat and stuff like that. But if he's saying, "Oh no, I want 400k a week," then yeah, he's a fantastic player. But we've been down this road before, paying players ridiculous wages and then trying to move them on. It doesn't end well ever. So I think let's have a conversation, see what the wages are, feel it out. If it's acceptable, cool. Let's try it. If not, Gyökeres is right there to do the deal. I'm sure that's an easier deal to do in terms of wages and stuff. And he knows the manager. So I think Osimhen is the better player, but the financial outlay is going to be tremendous. So maybe that's not the right option, because we do need to retool other parts of the squad. So if you're paying, 65 million, the release clause for Osimhen? Plus whatever, if say he's on 400k a week, that's nearly $1 million every fortnight. for the rest of the fucking year. Like, that's a lot of money that could then go on a number 8, a goalkeeper, a wing back. Like, that could go elsewhere in the squad, which we desperately need. So, yeah, it depends on the wages, really. That's what it comes down to.
Do we know for a fact, though, that he's not going Saudi because of the money or the project? They're the lines that need unblurring, right?
We don't know, do we? We don't know. No. Like, ultimately, we don't know. Only him and his agent know. They're the only ones that know, because Napoli accepted the bid. Napoli were happy for him to go, and he's the one that's turned it down. So either it's the money or it's he doesn't want to go there. We don't know which one it is.
It's an interesting situation. Would you not push for Osimhen, Adam? Not tempted?
There is that temptation there, because I think he's like out there in the striker market. There's not many great players that are ready-made, and he's played at the top level for quite a bit of time now as well, and still good age bracket as well. But like, as you said, is it going to be that he turned down the project, like, going abroad to Saudi? Does he want to stay in Europe, kind of perform at the high level, or is it a case of the wages weren't enough? And if it's a case of the wages not being enough, I think that says everything. And I think we're trying to distance ourselves from that, because we've had a load of overplayed players in the past, and it seems like we need to restructure this wage bill, I suppose. And we've sort of seen that since Ineos have come in. They're not given these massive contracts that we've seen. Like, who was the last kind of big contract that we did give? That I'm trying to think, anyone over like 250. Bruno, I know there's that kind of, but was the Bruno contract before Ineos, was it?
Yeah, before. Yeah, it was. Yeah, there was the Rashford one after the one good season, wasn't there? They gave him 350k. They bought Casemiro on 375k, and then Bruno got his one. I think that was the last
bumper contract, yeah. And that's the last one that's been the big contract. So we haven't really seen them now since, I suppose, Ineos have come in as well. And I think that's I want to keep that, because there's all these rumours about, say, Wirtz coming in now. He's walking into this team, into Liverpool's team, and he's one of the top dogs earners then. And you're going to have a few players there who have, have actually performed over the season, helped them win that title. And they're like, here, I fancy a bit of extra cash. I should be on it. I performed. I deserve it. So I think bringing these players in like that is a no-go, and I want to distance ourselves from that. That's the only sort of turn off I would have with him.
Sorry, Nick. I don't think any of our players can walk into our board and go, yeah, I did it.
That's true.
Not a single one of them can walk in and go, yeah, I should be getting paid more. I've seen your last season. No, you fucking don't. You don't get
if anything, extra. You need a pay cut, mate.
We're docking.
We're paying you way too much. Do you think, like, if we take all money out of it, and all the kind of if, buts, and coconuts and all that kind of stuff, right? Which striker are you taking hands down out? Gyökeres, Osimhen, Mateta, any of those players that we've been linked with? For me personally, I think Osimhen's better than the lot.
Yeah, he's the top one. In terms of ability and what we need, he is perfect. But it's not black and white football, is it?
Yeah.
Never like, perfect player, go get him. It's like, no, what's his attitude like? Wages, outlay, transfers, adapting to the league. Well, there's all these different factors that come in, and it's never that simple, unfortunately. So you have to sort of like look at them all and be like, right, what is the best that in like every category? It's like, who's the best player? Osimhen. Okay. Who's the best financially? Well, you're probably going to go towards Gyökeres or Mateta, right? They're the sort of better financially. Who's more prem proven? Well, Mateta is. But who's worked with the coach? Well, Gyökeres is. So you've got all these different factors in mind. So it's never just as simple as he's the best, get him, which I wish it was, but it just isn't, unfortunately.
What it reminds me of is, like, I'm looking at an iPhone 16 right now. It's like, are you going to go with the Pro Max? Are you going to go with the Pro? Or are you going to go with the 16e? It's all these different options. So, like, they all tick a box for something that's good, but different prices, different ranges, different performance. And there's also the side, like, if you bring someone like Osimhen in, is he going to perform in the Premier League as well? Equally, Gyökeres, if you bring him in, is he going to perform? But he's played with the manager. So they all have something that the other doesn't have. And it's up to the club now, which way are we going to go down? Do they want to go with one way, say the player that the managers worked with before? We're going to go with the prime proven player who's had 2 decent seasons now. or are we going to go with what we feel is the most experience, even at the high level? But there's still that factor: will he perform in the league? I don't know why. I know I've said it with Garnacho, but I've always felt Osimhen is a Chelsea player. Like,
I know
he
what you
fits
mean.
that bill.
Well, they've got a rich heritage of African players, right? John Obi Mikel, Drogba, Essien. Like, they've had these really, really successful African players, apart from Etu, who went there and didn't do too well. But for the most part, they've been really, really good, haven't they? And I always thought the same. I thought Chelsea might go for it, but I think with them recruiting Delap, they've looked at the situation more like, we're going to put trust in Jackson, but we're also going to push Delap to kind of compete with him and then see which one comes out. And obviously, it's a lot cheaper.
It seems like Chelsea will go spend money on certain players. Like, it doesn't seem like they spend money on strikers or forwards.
Midfielders, for sure.
Midfielders they'll spend big money on, but it seems like forwards, they're picking young, exciting players that they can flip later, whereas they're investing a lot of money in the midfield, which is
interesting, isn't it?
It's a strange way. I don't understand how they still not bought a goalkeeper, by the way. That is baffling me, like they haven't bought one. I know they're going for Mike Maignan now, but like, Jesus Christ, how they've not bought a goalie yet is insane.
Yeah. Right, let's go back to the fourth man in the show, and that's you guys are in the comments section. McMillan saying, evening lads, watching from South Africa as well. We know McMillan, long-term watcher. Appreciate you, brother. Charlie saying, tiny problem. Oz turned down 800k a week, so Napoli never got the money they needed to buy Garnacho. I don't know if I believe that.
So Kvaratskhelia for like, what was it? Like
80 million? Yeah.
Like, they've got money. Fuck off. They haven't got money.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I believe that.
This is like, like the fucking Leverkusen saying they ain't got money. You're selling Wirtz for 120 odd million. You could get fucked as well.
Dortmund was the same. They sold Bellingham for 100 million, and then he was like, "Oh, we've got no money." Yeah, you just sold Haaland and Bellingham, and like, fuck off. You got no money. My Damn United, big up My Damn United, who's a real Red Ultra member. If you want to become a member for early access to shows, click the join button next to the notification bell. £2-3 a month, help support the channel. He's saying, you think Rasmus is going to be like that striker X hanging around Old Trafford in years to come? Nobody wants to buy our players because Ed Woodward gives our players dumbass wages, hence why we can't sell. Yep, that is still a long-term problem. I have to agree with that. Brian said, I've been watching Gyökeres's goals from 2 seasons ago at Coventry. I take out the pens. Most of his goals come from positions Hojlund has been in where he didn't even get a shot away. I agree there is elements of that where he does need space and channels to run into. So it's about Cunha and then Buemo if he does come help and exploit that space. There's no profit to be made on Rasmus either way, and with a wage of just 85k a week, it's not a big issue either. I want to try and get as many as I can. Didn't Bruno sign last season? Yeah, me and Sam covered it, didn't we, Sam? On the contract situation.
It was the season after Ten Hag won the FA Cup, I believe. I think that's when they signed it. And obviously, Ineos only just got everybody in sort of place like by the July, I think it was, wasn't it? So they weren't. I know Jim bought it by February, but they weren't really in place. So I think John Mertens was still there at that time. Yeah. So yeah.
In Turkey, there were criticisms of Osimhen as he acts like a spoiled brat. Well, look, I suppose we'd find that out, wouldn't we, if Ineos had done their due diligence, because what it seems they're looking at now, rather than just a pure player, it does seem like they take their personality, what they do off the pitch, into account, which should always be the case anyway. Like, Sir Alex Ferguson always said that. Are you married? Are you doing this? Are you a family man? Are you doing that? Like, he would always do that background checks, because there's always a chance of a live wire if, you're single, you're nightclubbing. Like, I think Rio had a situation like that, right?
Yeah.
When he was in, Fergie was tapping up the bouncers, was it, or something, to see, like,
Roy Keane, he had to go bail him out of prison for the FA Cup semi-final because he got into a fight in a bar. Yep. He had to do that. That was the thing. But it seems like,
imagine Roy Keane showing up to bail you out. Of all people, Roy Keane.
No. He
got bailed.
He went to bail Roy Keane out of jail.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I thought you meant Rio. I was like, that's the first I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Alex went to bail Roy Keane out of a thing. But yeah, if you look at our players at the minute, the ones we signed, they all seem like pretty chill, relaxed people, don't they? Like, De Ligt seems very chill. Yono, like, very down to earth. Your guy's got a fiery side on top, but he seems like
on the pitch, though, isn't it? Yeah, outside of football,
outside
very
football,
quiet.
he seems fine. Xerxes, very chill.
Yeah.
Like, contemplative, man. Like, none of them seem dickheads so far. Like, whereas previous regime, Sancho, bit of a dickhead. Garnacho, bit of a dickhead. And it's just like, yeah, I think that matters personality-wise. I think it's fine to have fire and a bit of petulance on the pitch, but when you light that off the pitch as well, it starts causing problems in the squad and outside as well.
I think you can have like variants of dickheads though, can't you? Like, so for example, it can be kind of construed certain different ways. Like, so Wayne Rooney at times could be a bit fiery and a bit of a dickhead and a bit of a flat track bullet, but on that pitch there is not one player that you would not want to have other than him on the pitch. Like, he was just a monster. Cantona, I'm sure, had his quirks as well. So if you balance it with talent and deliver on the pitch, people don't discuss it as much. But like Garnacho, for example,
arrogance.
It comes across so arrogant, and you're like, to be honest, yeah, you scored in the final, you've got ability, you've got a bit about you. But the way he's acting, you think he's been in the game 15 years, winning league after league.
If you're cocky and stuff like that, but you're showing up on the pitch week after week and you're winning games and stuff like that, people are very forgiving. People are like, look, yeah, he's a bit arrogant, but he's producing. And people like, it's like musicians talk about like how good and stuff like that, but when they're producing like amazing music, people let it go a little bit and they're like, yeah, fine, but stuff like that.
People was letting Kanye West stuff go for a bit, and then you saw what he was doing, and then you go, whoa, forget college dropout, forget fucking them albums, because what you're doing right now is
you went too far. You went too far. But like, if you sort of like get to the point where you're not producing on the pitch, and then your attitude stinks as well, people are just like, well, you could get fucked because you're not producing on the pitch, and you're being an asshole. Like, so nobody's winning it. So yeah, fuck off, and you lose everybody. When you lose the fans, it's over for you. Like, it's done.
I think that element of overconfidence as well really annoys me. So you look at someone like Andre Onana, when he seems so like, do you know that interview that he did after he'd made probably, I don't know, shitloads of mistakes in the Champions League, and he sat down and did an interview with, I can't remember what thingy it was, broadcaster. Yeah. And he was like, do you think I've turned into the worst keeper in the world after the Champions League campaign I've just had? Like, he was just oblivious to all the mistakes he had made with United and everything that had gone on. And this is kind of one of the bigger problems at the club now as well, isn't it? Like, we may have to go into the season with him as the starting number one if we can't sell him. And I'm not seeing much interest in him at the minute from anywhere.
No, I haven't even seen it from Saudi, and like, that's a bit of a worry as well. It's that kind of, as we talked about, that arrogance about, okay, if you're going to be cocky, arrogant, you have to prove it on the pitch. And also what I like is when people acknowledge they've actually done bad, they've made a mistake. And he doesn't seem to come out and hold his hands up at all and block the ball, but hold his hands up and say, look, I've made an issue, I've been an issue, I need to put my head down, I need to clear it. And sometimes like getting taken out of the team for a bit, even talk to the manager, but he obviously wants to play through it. And it progressively got worse. There was a period he did perform well, but like
that Lyon game though was like the stuff before that, the nonsense with Matic, where it's like, oh, we're a way better team than him, and you're like, oh.
I was telling him nearly to shut the hell up, would you? You don't need to say these sort of things. They always come back and bite you in the arse.
Yeah.
And then Matic came back and said, you're the worst goalkeeper in Man United history. And so far, in terms of mistakes, like, one of the issues with De Gea was he had howlers in him. And that's why we let him go, because he always had a howler at the big stage. And now we replaced him with a goalkeeper who was meant to be able to play with his feet, and we haven't seen that. And he's just as error prone, probably creates more errors.
His distribution was fantastic for Inter. I've not seen him make a long ball in my entire time watching him. No. Like, not single one.
What happened to all that?
Sam,
that's why we signed you.
How many points, Sam, do you think he's cost us in a season?
Well, he cost us a Champions League campaign, didn't he? The entire group
on his own.
On his own.
Yeah.
So there's that, because we scored like 2 or 3 goals each game, didn't we? And then he threw 3 goals into the back of the net. Like, we had a Bayern Munich team on the ropes. Like, we were beating them, and he cost it. Galatasaray, we were beating them. He cost us that. Copenhagen, weren't we 3-0 up at one point or something?
Yeah, when Rashford got sent off when we played away.
So there's entire Champions League campaign that he's cost us. And then, it was probably an average in Premier League? 5,
I remember
mistakes
against Brentford, a couple of mistakes against them. Crystal Palace. I mean, there's loads of games you can go to. Nottingham Forest. Do you remember the Gibbs White one?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
there's stuff as well though, like stuff that doesn't cost us but causes chaos at the back and causes defenders to get nervy, which then affects the rest of the game. Like when he's parrying things out into the 6-yard box and the defense like, for fuck's sake, and then everybody's nervous,
waits.
Chaotic.
So he puts his foot on the ball for about half an hour. Are you going to play, mate, or are you just going to invite pressure on? Like, because it's okay if you do that as a keeper and you invite the pressure and you know your next pass. You're clipping it over to the wing back, but he doesn't. He just keeps hold of it. You're like, oh my God, get rid, please.
And his diving technique is so unorthodox. Like the way he dives is so. Like I'm no goalkeeper. Like I played on the wings. I don't know anything about goalkeeping, but every goalkeeper I see just dives directly, like down or up, or he jumps forward and then makes the dive like that. And I'm like, if it works and you're making more saves than anyone, cool. But you're not. You're letting balls slip in at your near post every single time, which tells me your technique's not right, because not every single one of these shots is worldies with perfect placement, because statistically that's not true. So I don't understand like why nobody's pulled him up and gone, look, mate, what you're doing isn't working. You need to change this. You need to change that. You need to change
because
that.
Sam, he's probably going, nah. He's probably like, don't tell me what to do. I was the best goalkeeper in the Champions League 2 years ago. Honestly, that's probably what it's like.
Yeah.
Just the kind of proper.
The best to the worst.
Honest, the best in the Champions League, genuinely. That's why we was all, us three actually, was on the show when we signed Onana. Because I remember going live about it, and it was like, distribution, confidence, Champions League finalist, little did we know.
Not seen any of it.
Oh my goodness me. And this is where the other goalkeeper comes into the picture. So, we've been linked with Emi Martinez from Aston Villa. We know Aston Villa needs to sell, PSR rules, etc., etc. He's on £150,000 a week at Aston Villa, 33 years old. Should we even be looking at this, Adam?
I did mention it the last day I did, and with goalkeepers, you have a bit more of a longevity. You could, for me, you could get 5 years out of him even at that age. Like these goalkeepers can't play for an insane amount of time. And he has performed at the high level. But like Onana, he does have that howler in him, especially last season that has just come off. Yeah, Old Trafford, that comes to mind. Last game, and that was the deciding game for them, whether they got Champions League football. And fair enough, they almost did. With speaking of goalkeepers, our goalkeeper nearly made a howler. But I'm not completely opposed to it, given the price that's been quoted.
Interesting.
Like, I think he is a good shot stopper, and right now, like, I know we could talk about a ball-playing goalkeeper, but the main priority is a shot stopper, and De Gea kind of fell off in that regard. And just because he's had one bad year, but there's that arrogance about him as well. I know we're talking about that. You have to back it up, otherwise you look like a dickhead. And last season he had that arrogance, but it came across as being a dickhead. So that's going to also... It seems like in Ineos they're looking at the background checks. Will they kind of go for someone like that? I don't know. I wouldn't be fully opposed to it, because I always like a redemption story, and I think could be a good redemption story. But I wouldn't be paying 40 million for a 33-year-old. Like, it's insane when you kind of quote it like that. But they can play longer.
Yeah. Sam, would you describe Emi Martinez as
the no-brainer? This was the banker. This was the one that couldn't fail. This was one that's never failed.
What do you reckon?
I would describe Emi Martinez as a bell end, is what I would describe.
Oh, well, yeah, fair enough.
I would describe him. His attitude stinks in terms of I really don't like him. I really, really don't like him. He's on that level of David Luiz of players I hate.
David Luiz, mate.
David Luiz, fucking
I couldn't stand him. Yeah,
really,
I'm with you on that.
He's on that level. I'm just like, every time I see him, I'm just like, just fuck off. Like, you could just fuck off. Robbie Savage as well. He could fuck off. I hate Robbie Savage. That's another show. It's true. I think 10 million is an all right price. I'd be all right with 10 million. But the wages, is he going to want an increase coming to United? That's an issue. So I'm just, I think there's other options out there. I know Chelsea are going for Mike Maignan from AC Milan.
Don't know why we're not speaking to him.
Yeah. I know Chivy's got his issues where he doesn't want a black keeper anymore because they've got too many bozos in him, apparently.
When he said that to me online, I was like, you said it, mate. I'm not getting involved in that conversation.
That's Chivy's opinion, not our opinion.
Yeah, not our opinion. It's Chivy's opinion.
Why is that not a conversation? Like, I've seen, was it Chelsea 20 million euros or something. Like, why are we not on that? Like, why are we not looking at it? Like, so yeah, it's strange. I don't know many goalkeepers out there that we've actually looked at besides that Milinkovic-Savic that we touched on. We've not seen really anything, sadly. Are we going to touch on Donnarumma, the actual mental story?
That's the last fake rumor that we're going to talk about, which is utter bollocks, by the way. But let me get to the comments section because there's some interesting ones in here. So this is fucking hilarious. This has got no relation to Man United whatsoever, right? But legal spray. I don't know if this is true, but I'm just going to read it from the comment section. Darwin Núñez missed his Al Nassr medical after accidentally boarding a plane to South Africa instead of Saudi Arabia, collapsing his £85 million move from Liverpool. That's what he's just put in the chat. I don't know. Real? And then My Damn United put typical Darwin Núñez, XFA expected flight arrivals 1, actual XFA 0. That's hilarious. I don't know if that's true or not. Someone could have just put it in the chat. But
I'm gonna
look it up, see if it is, because that's funny if he has. Brian said, I think Onana getting lobbed in his very first game for us completely changed how he was used. Yeah, that situation with Dalot. It was against Lawns, that, in a preseason friendly, where Dalot just passes it to one of the players and he just fucking dinks him done it from the halfway line or something. Phil in the chat saying PSG just won the Champions League and are going to win Club World Cup. Why would he want to go United? All the Mancs are at it again. Deluded Mancs. Okay, 2 things on this, right?
We don't think it's true.
We don't think it. We think it's utter bollocks. Yeah. We literally WhatsApp messages say, "Why on earth would he join us from PSG?" Yeah. Okay. The second thing, our geolocation has got nothing to. Trust me, you can get idiots in Liverpool. You can get idiots in London. You get idiots everywhere. So deluded minds. Trust me. Yeah, you get idiots in Sligo. You get idiots wherever. Trust me, Phil, and you're probably one of them.
Darwin Núñez is not true. Like, it's not true. So.
Okay, I was going to say that's so funny.
Very funny. Very funny, though.
Always have to check. It sounds like it could be true, doesn't it? It does sound like it could be true. Danny's saying De Gea would have still had us in the Champions League last year, a few places higher this year, and probably Europa win. Gone for free, wasting 47 million on Onana, who's up there with a Bosniak mistake.
I do think we would have been better off with De Gea in net this season.
Yeah. I
do. But then we changed manager halfway.
I think there would have been still mistakes, and his distribution is shit as well. So I don't know whether we'd be better or not. So yeah.
Right, let's go on to this Donnarumma stuff then, because it keeps getting pushed, and I have no idea why. But this is the report, lads. We just report the news and then we give our opinions on it. Man United and Manchester City haven't expressed interest in Gianluigi Donnarumma. Both clubs are tempted to him, and he's even discussed a possible move to England in recent days.
Why would you leave the club that's just done a treble, won the Champions League for the first time since
probably going to dominate for the next 10 years as well.
They've got probably 5 or 6 of the best players in their positions at the minute, like in Vitinho and Kvaratskhelia and Doué and Dembele and stuff. Like it just would. City, maybe I could see it. Maybe that's as far as it. United, not fuck it. Yeah, let's leave the Champions League winners to go to United, who are in a rebuild phase. Probably not going to compete for a league title, not even in Europe. Like, I don't understand it. The only way I think this news is coming out is that he wants a new deal at PSG. He wants a new contract. That's the only way that this is coming out. There's no fucking way he comes to United. Not a chance in hell this happens.
No. That would be, I think you won it. You'd be, and you, on your contract thing, so the contract runs out June 2026, so we've got a year left. Maybe that's why you're seeing these kind of stories.
Oh, yeah.
Pushing it. Donnarumma's not going to come to us, is he, Adam?
Ramos did that, didn't he? Sergio Ramos, do you remember?
Yeah, I remember that.
There was all his links and stuff like that, and he signed a deal at Madrid, and he basically honey dicked us, didn't they? So it's just like, that's... This is what's happening.
No, I can't see it. I called it in the chat earlier, just lazy journalism. I don't even think we're even keeping tabs on it, because his wage, what he would be asking for a wage, would just destroy our wage structure. And we kind of talked about that earlier as well. And I can't see any of us doing that. I saw a comment there earlier, within a year, they've kind of managed to balance things a bit more, which is good to see. So why would you bring in somebody, pay, and he's probably going to want the money that we're talking about, like, the Bruno money, Rashford money, that sort of money per week he'd be looking at. It's just to get a new contract with PSG. I can see it. And I think he does deserve that, because what is he reportedly on? Is it €150,000, I think, a week or something I read? I could be wrong, but I read it was relatively low, and he is one of their better performers as well. And you potentially have a goalkeeper there who, like, you'd argue he's the best in the world right now. Probably him, Courtois, I'd put as the top two. And we're kind of going back to that stage of goalkeepers, get the big lanky guy in goal, it feels like.
Yeah.
But it's just for a new contract. It's just all playing politics, football politics.
Yeah, put United's name in it, put Madrid's name in it, generate interest. Let's see if we can get a new contract. That is kind of negotiating 101 when it comes to contract deals, and we see it so many times. Just for a recap for anyone who's joining, we have spoken about the Garnacho situation. We put a poll up at the start of the show. Would you keep Garnacho, which is at 70 votes? 89% said no, 11% said yeah. So 1/10.
Identify yourself right now and give us reasons.
Everyone's entitled to an opinion, that's fair enough, but yeah, it's interesting.
Should we take questions for the last 3 minutes?
Yeah, absolutely. Anything you want. Whilst you're thinking of those questions, I'll just put it on screen. If you would like to subscribe to this channel, please do click the join button. Not the join button, subscribe button. You can click the join button as well if you want. Leave a like on the video for us and turn on the notification bell as well. So when we do go live, because it is the transfer window, stories can pop off at any moment. 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, fucking 2 in the morning, shit can go off. So we tend to go live literally 5 minutes within the story, so that will drop down on your phone, laptop, whatever. You can click it and see mine, Adam, and Sam's wonderful face.
Brian has said, money no object, dream signing.
Now you're talking, Brian. What position? Any position are we talking? Or?
Yeah, just pick a position. Just pick someone.
Oh my word! We'll have a look. Of course, we'll have a look.
Oh, that's a good question. You know what? I really like the Rangers move. I have to be honest.
I was going to say Rangers.
I think that's a really good signing for Man City. But if you could say pluck one player from a team and put him in our team, it's Vitinho all day. Not even a question.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All day.
Can we get, like, in Star Wars, they've backed the tanks, and can we just put Van Persie in it? Like, spend all the money you want. I'd love a Van Persie. Just someone like that.
Son? Is he got kids? Are they playing yet? Can we get one of them?
Yeah.
That'd be good.
I'm trying to think.
If we get rid of Onana, who would you bring in as a goalie next year?
Well, who would your dream signing be, Adam?
It's a tough one. I'm trying to think who I would like, because if you're saying the midfield, saying, okay, that's our priority, that's what we need right now.
What you want, mate? It's your
it's whatever you want.
Yeah, what you want.
Be a centre back, goalkeeper, right back.
Yeah,
probably a right back. Anybody other than Dallo. Who would you be looking at as a right back? That
wing back, we'd probably say, won't we?
Yeah, wing back. It doesn't sound good, but I'm going to go Theo Hernandez probably right now.
Interesting. I do like him as a player.
He's turned down Saudi as well, hasn't he?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I'll go with someone like that. Even though I think Drogu, I can never pronounce the name. It's like the Game of Thrones dragon. That's what I'm going to call him. The boss. I think he's played pretty well, and he scored a good goal. Was it last night? I think he played. Like
for Denmark.
Yeah, had a good goal, I think, last night. So, like, it's not a replacement for him, but I think he can play also on the right as well, can't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've seen it.
Yeah,
so I'm just going to go Theo Hernandez.
If you get rid of Onana, who would you bring in a goalkeeper? I would, if Ter Stegen is trying to be forced out of Barca, I would try that. I'd try go in.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Anyone or realistic?
Yeah. Well, go realistic for now, because we've
realistic.
Just done signings.
It's difficult, isn't it?
Bazuna.
Fucking hell.
Let it go, Adam. Let it go.
And even when people say Ramsdale, you're like, what?
No.
You've watched Ramsdale before. You're fucking mad. I don't think there's a keeper out there that would take realistic at the minute that I know about. that's decent. Honestly, don't think I would. So I can't answer that question. Have we got any other ones?
Paulinho returned to the Premier League from Bayern. Is it worth a shout? 25-30 million? Absolutely. I liked him so much at Fulham, and when he went to Bayern, I was gutted because I thought he would be fantastic.
Yeah, we were saying, why have we not put a bid in for that? Yeah. Is he say almost 30 years old? Is it?
No, is he?
We just put worth a shout.
30.
Almost 30.
Yeah. Yeah, I still think he'd be worth a shout. Like, he's clearly not fancied at Bayern because he did an interview, didn't he, saying he hopes he gets more time, and he wants to stay. But I would love it. I'd love to see him. I think he's a great player.
2 years. Yeah, he's almost 30.
That would be a bit because you got Kimmich, for example, who I think his contract goes down soon as well. He's a similar age. So if I've got the pick out of the two, I'm taking Joshua Kimmich fucking all day. But it's the same Casemiro situation again, isn't it? You're kind of like a little bit hesitant to bring in someone like that, especially if it's expensive wages.
I've got a question for Adam. If you could, if all the Irish players are playing at the minute, and you could sign them for United, who you want to sign?
Oh, jeez. Not that we have much of a crop of talent at the moment.
Kelleher's pretty good.
No, he's performed well for Liverpool. I think he played a decent amount of games in the campaign too in the Premier League, even when I don't think Alisson was overly injured.
Alisson was injured, but when he was coming back, he kept his place.
Yeah,
hasn't he just signed for Brentford?
Brentford. Yeah.
Good signing.
So be a number one there. Honestly, Irish players right now, nobody excites me. You're looking at it like what, Adam Ida up top. They're hoping up for an Adam Ida at the moment.
There's nobody exciting in the Irish team at the minute.
When I look at it, I get bored watching it. Honestly, should we have was it the old Iceland manager as our keeper?
Oh, is he really?
Keeper? He's our coach
Jesus,
at the moment.
I was going to say
that is going to say that's how bad it's got.
That desperate, yeah. Can you play net, mate?
I don't know if you watched the England-Andorra game last night, but Jesus
I heard that was bad.
You were talking about boring.
Didn't watch it.
I thought it put a bullet in my fucking head. It was
me in England, mate. Done. After that last tournament.
I was just, there was nothing else on. I was like, this football, let's watch it. Jesus Christ. That was
Did he play three at the back?
Yeah, but honest to God, it was terrible. I hope Tuchel is the opposite way around as Southgate, where he's terrible in qualifiers, but when he gets to the tournament, he can win something.
Well, they absolutely bollocked him, didn't he, in the post-match thing? He said, the butt basically just grilled him. He said, I said the same thing to the reporters as what I said to players in the dressing room, and it was just, shocking. So, look, we're getting near the hour mark, so we shall leave it at that. We want people to, I'm not saying you're not enjoying your Sunday, but people have Sunday roast to eat and stuff. So, yeah, hopefully you guys have all enjoyed it. Like I said before, if you can subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely amazing. On the road to 20k now, because we surpassed 16. We're on 16,269. So, yeah, next milestone is 20k, which is incredible. We're also working on a couple of things behind the scenes as well, so keep an eye out for that, as always. Updating a lot of things on the channel. And in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen is a little tablet that says socials. On there is Instagram, X, and TikTok. If you want a variety of different content, whether it's news stuff, whether it's reels, some funny clips on there, whatever it is, all of them cover it. So please do drop us a follow. Appreciate there's been loads of yous in this chat, loads of decent opinions, some funny stuff. So yeah, always nice. I always really like doing the Sunday social because it's just a little bit more relaxed and a bit more of a chat with mates at the pub. That's what it's supposed to be. Anyway, pick up the capybaras in the chat. I can't remember which one it is. I think is it F?
Let's see if he gets it right.
Can I get it right? Oh, we got it right.
Yeah.
And now, we've just got it on a loop. So whenever we need it, I can just love it. Happy Sunday, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.